political thunderbolt from one of the Liberal Party's leading moderates, letting fly at his own side.
The Liberal Party, though, has contributed to our malaise by not being prepared to develop enough alternative policy and to wear political risk. For 20 years, Australian leadership, including the custodians of liberalism, have been indolent.
Andrew Bragg is the Coalition's housing spokesman, but in his first address to the National Press Club, the New South Wales Senator strayed well beyond his portfolio.
I understand that people are over the two-party system, and it's a tough ask to say to Australians, we buggered it up, but please vote for us again. I do understand how hard that is. As someone who was a backbencher in the Morrison government, I wish I'd done more to stop the madness.
It was a speech motivated by Bragg's personal view that the Liberal Party needs to show more policy ambition and honesty about what ails it, and to steer away from populist right-wing talking points that fall flat with many voters.
The extremes of the left and right want to stoke division amongst Australians, be they Jewish, Christian, Muslim, LGBT, women, men, Indigenous, migrant. Pick a group, start a culture war, it's got to stop.
Bragg's fiery speech has not gone down well with all his colleagues, some of whom are privately frustrated that it shifts attention away from the Prime Minister's poor judgment in participating in a bad taste podcast. The Shadow Minister has also muddied the waters over Angus Taylor's signature immigration policy, which would bind the rate of net overseas migration directly to home building. The opposition leader has been careful to avoid a specific migration target, unlike Bragg today.
The shortfall between number of houses built and the number of people coming in is 350 to 400,000, about that. And so you need to have a norm somewhere around 180,000 to bridge that gap over the Forward Estimates period. Like, that's just the range.
Bragg took aim at gold-plated building regulations that he blames for making houses too costly and complicated.
If you're going to buy a first house and it's a house and land package on the outskirts of Melbourne, Sydney or Brisbane, you'd probably do that with your partner or your spouse. You would be having to build that house on the basis that you are disabled and that you want the most super duper energy efficient house in the whole universe.
There is no one serious in this debate who is saying that the answer to our housing problems as a country is to scrap housing standards. At the end of the day, remember, Australian consumers pay for that. If we create homes that don't have heating and cooling, then Australians have to pay for that through energy prices.
There was also a familiar call to arms on cutting spending.
Bob Hawke and Peter Walsh managed to cut federal spending from 27.5% of GDP to 22% in just 5 years. That remains the benchmark.
A reduction the Treasurer was quick to quantify in dollar terms.
Senator Bragg said today that the benchmark is another almost $500 billion in budget cuts, Mr Speaker. They can only offset numbers that big by coming after Medicare again like last time, or pensions and payments again, or jobs and wages.
If nothing else, Andrew Bragg's speech is a reminder the Liberal Party still has a long road ahead to rebuild its electoral stocks. Not that it's been all plain sailing for its political nemesis, One Nation, which has again come under scrutiny.
Have you seen the animal, male animal with the male animal, female animal with the female animal? So we are worse than the animals.
Parminder Singh was a One Nation candidate for WA's state parliament in 2025, who's had his profile removed from the party's website after the ABC today reported on homophobic statements he made in a social media post.
He obviously doesn't know One Nation, because they've got a surprise for him. We have quite a large proportion of gay people. I don't want to say it, but I think we're one of the gayest parties in Australia.
While Singh's days with the party are likely numbered, the incident has again raised doubts about how One Nation vets its candidates.
People are allowed to have views, of course, but they've got to be within the Australian guardrails. Well, that's one of our key policies. We believe in an Australian culture that is tolerant, egalitarian.
On another question of values, talks are still underway between the government and the coalition on proposed gambling legislation. Tasmanian Independent Andrew Wilkie accused the betting industry of unduly influencing members of Parliament, and he's referred it to the National Anti-Corruption Commission.
This has resulted in policy so clearly at odds with research, public opinion and the public interest that the implementation of such policy could be characterised, in my opinion, as serious corruption.
What we need to do in a debate like this, that can be emotional, is to make sure that we get the policy right. And our government is determined to get the policy right.